making any delay, I would like to start my presentation. As Binil sir has already mentioned, my today's presentation is focused on the geopolymer technology and what will be its future. So this is a physics department webinar 41. So before going in my presentation, I would like to give my short informations. Already, Binil sir has already mentioned about this. Did my master's from Central Department of Chemistry, Doctor of Engineering from Tokyo Institute of Technology, and postdoc from Tohoku University. It was in physics department. And this is my academic professional career. I became professor in June 2013, along with Binil sir. Yeah. And I was associate professor in 2009. And I started my career in Trivandrum University from 1995 as a part-time teacher, initially from Trichan Multiple Campus. In 1996, I came as a on contract basis as a teaching assistant at Central Department of Chemistry. And in 1997, I became permanent lecturer, and then it was in process. So before going in detail, Binil sir has informed about my publications. My publications begins from 1995. If you go through my chart, I'm sharing my chart here. During 95 to 98, it was my master's work. Then 2003 to 2006, I did all the publications were from my PhD works. And if you see my chart, during 2007 to half of 2008, I didn't have any publications. After my PhD, I joined as a postdoc in Tohoku University Physics Department, and where I was working on metallic nanoparticle synthesis. And my unfortunate was that all of my works that time when I was working on Tohoku University, it was patented. I didn't have a right to publish even a single word, and they signed me forcefully in a contract not to publish any of my research for the 20 years. That was the reason. Initially, they gave me the position for 10 years. But after such this patent struggle, I broke that contract, and I tried to return back from there only after 1 year. But even then, they make certain, there are a lot of hassles. And anyway, after 3 or 4 months struggle, I got relief from there. And then you'll see here, there are some publications during my associate professor time. It was almost not, I didn't publish a lot of paper because I had already a lot of paper to become associate professor that time. If you see the chart, in 2012, I was, 1 year at 10 publications. And all the period during 2009 to 2012, I published a lot of paper. I wrote 2 books. This is all the process was it was very fast. As I tried to be, that time it was my tenure to become a professor. Then after it was slowed down. Can you slow down, Binil sir, can I give some words in Nepali also? Okay, no problem.
Please, you are welcome.
Yes, sir. Binay sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please feel free to take language.
Yeah. यो प्रोफेसरसम्मको यात्रामा मैले के एउटा अनुभव गरेँ भने हाम्रो देशमा योग्यताको कदर चाहिँ बिस्तारै बिस्तारै हराउँदै गइरहेछ। र यही कारण हो कि तपाईले मेरो चार्ट पनि हेर्नुभयो भने प्रोफेसर भइसकेपछि मेरो एकाडेमिक पर्फर्मेन्स बिस्तारै शिथिल हुँदै गइरहेछ। योग्यताको जहाँ कदरै हुँदैन त्यो ठाउँमा गर्ने के हो। अब I don't want to give much more time on these things. Later on, will make a one-to-one discussions. Let me go to about the geopolymers. What are the silent features? Some facts about cement. Before, geopolymer is also called as a green cement. So it is an alternate for cement materials, and such alternate which can be produced in eco-friendly, environment-friendly system. I just want to give some facts about the cement. Since 1950, global cement production has increased more than 30-fold and almost 4-fold since 1990. And it is much rapidly than global fossil energy production in the last decades. The production of cement is the third largest source of anthropogenic emission of carbon dioxide, and after fossil fuels combustion and land use uses. In 2016, global process of emission was around 1.45 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. And it is equivalent to, just a minute, just a moment. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here in 2016 global process emission carbon dioxide equivalent to, it is almost 4% of the emissions from fossil fuels. Cumulative emissions from 1928 to 2016 were 39.3 per plus minus 2.4. That is 66% of which have occurred in since 1990s. And so now I would like to give some features of the geopolymers. Geopolymers are very easy to make, as they handle easily and do not require very high heat. This is the most important part. We can produce cement at about 1600 degrees Celsius and some higher temperatures. But geopolymer, which acts as similar to that of cement materials, can be produced at an ambient temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. These geopolymeric composites have a high heat tolerance than organic composites. Tests conducted on geopolymers, carbon composites, show that they will not burn at all. I will show some pictorial examples, and the mechanical properties of geopolymer composites are as good as those of organic composites. In addition, geopolymer resist all organic solvents and are only affected by strong hydrochloric acid. So this is one example of high resistivity of geopolymers. I just want to show here the geopolymer ensure thermal protection of industrial building and facilities up to 1200 degrees Celsius. And before we begin about the geopolymers work, I would like to give a brief historical background. Geopolymers are with us since long. Before the discovery of cement materials, we had buildings. हामी अहिले पनि राणाकालीन बिल्डिङहरू हेर्छौं, इटाको धुलो चुन राखेर बनाएको. That is also a type of geopolymer material. Geopolymer is a class of synthetic aluminosilicate materials. It has a number of potential uses in several areas, but predominantly as a replacement of cement. And this geopolymer name was first given by Professor J. Davido Bates. He is from France in 1970. He is still alive. I will give you more information later on. And this geopolymer is not a new for us, and its existence can be seen in Egypt's famous pyramids, which are composed of the geopolymers. Roman cements, small artifacts, which were previously thought to be a stone, were made using the knowledge of geopolymer techniques. The research was established by Professor Mackenzie in 2000. He did one research on geopolymer. And this is the recent example of the geopolymer. Davidovich et al. He published an ancient geopolymer in South American monument. The same and petrographic evidences found in this monument that these materials, the materials used in these monuments were made from the geopolymeric materials. A new scientific analysis demonstrated the artificial nature of Egyptian pyramids. A study was done by Professor Mackenzie with the title "Where the Casting Stones of Senefru Bent Pyramid in the South Cast or Carved." It was studied by multi-nuclear NMR evidence, and this is abstract about it. And Professor Mackenzie, he's a co-author of most of the international papers, and he was almost a co-supervisor of my PhD thesis. I will show you the one figure here. Is a Professor Mackenzie. This figure was taken. This figure was taken in 2003. 2003, when my elder son was 3 or 4 years. सरलाई मैले यो देखाउन खोजेको यो फोटो मैले कति बेला लिएको हो यो मेरो सन एल्डर सन हो र अहिले त्यो सन मेरो अहिले कस्तो छ त्यो देखाउन खोजिरहेको छु यही हो okay some focus points of this geopolymer, I would say this to meet 21st century environmental, economic and social constraint, the construction sector has to focus on new materials that meet climate demands, that is fighting carbon dioxide releases, saving of fossil fuel resources, use of renewable raw materials, construction of water resources, respect of biodiversity. So use of these geopolymers allows reduced cost of use, creation of new jobs, waste-free jobs, site management and healthy habitat in terms of air quality, water and atmospheric environment. So geopolymer cements are manufactured in a different manner than that of a Portland cement. There is some difference of the manufacturing of geopolymer compared to that of the cement materials. These geopolymer materials do not require extreme high temperature kilns with large expenditure of fuels, or nor do they require such a large capital investment in plant or equipment. Thermal processing of naturally occurring alkali aluminosilicates and aluminosilicates, that is geological resources available on all continents, is providing suitable geopolymeric raw materials. So this is these are the two books written by Professor Davidovich on geopolymer. And I just want to give you one pictorial diagram how the cement materials and geopolymers are formed. This cement materials, the process of forming cement material through simple hydration of calcium silicate into calcium disilicate hydrate that is, we called it CSH phase, calcium silicate hydrate phase. And this geopolymeric materials are formed through polycondensation of potassium oligosilate silazo into potassium polysilate silazo cross-linked networks. This is the hardening process. You can see here, this is the geopolymer product after certain interval of time, certain decades of time, and this is the cement material. You can see here some rusting occurring in cement materials artifacts, but not in geopolymeric materials. So there are certain enemies also, in either it is cement materials or whether it is a geopolymer or cement. The presence of chloride ion in raw material plays a crucial role for decaying properties of geopolymer and cements. Long ago, in 2012-13, I visited the PDA college in Gulbarga. It is in nearby Hyderabad or something. They showed me one auditorium hall and they asked me, what is this? These are if the raw material contains chloride ion, due to the rain or the moisture water or raining, it reacts with the chlorine, and that is a calcium, and it comes at calcium chloride. And it disrupts the chain structure of calcium silicate hydride of geopolymer or cement and comes out as an alkali or alkaline earth metal salt in presence of moisture. And when it comes out from the structure, there may be the creation of void. And that is the main reason for the decaying strength of the cement or geopolymer products after certain time periods. So there are a lot of applications of geopolymers. The automotive and aerospace industries, non-ferrous foundries and metallurgy, civil engineering, cement and concretes, ceramics, plastic industries, waste management, art and decorations, retrofits of buildings. And 1/3 of the recently updated book, that is Geopolymer Chemistry and Application, is dedicated to the geopolymeric applications. So I just want to give you the best example of the application of geopolymers. This is the University of Queensland's Global Change Institute building. It's the world's first building to successfully use geopolymer throughout the building, concrete for structure purposes. Another example I will show you. This is in Australia on September 28, 2014, the newly completed Brisbane West Wellcamp Airport. It was also prepared, this greenest airport in the world, more than 30,000 cubic meters of the world's lowest carbon, cement-free geopolymer concrete, Wagner's earth-friendly concrete building, and it was saved more than 6,600 tons of carbon emission during the construction period. And there are some other applications of geopolymeric materials. I'm not going in detail about these. These are some applications of geopolymeric materials, and this is the recent materials. When in 2014 I was in Bangalore, and they asked me how can we prepare the brick from the geopolymerization. So you can see here, with the increase in temperatures, we can prepare the very LTGS, that is low temperature geopolymeric setting system bricks, which has a strength higher than the ordinary bricks. I have done some more application work on this field. I would like to give you some glimpses of the geopolymer research when it started. If you go through the map During 1999, there are very few places where some geopolymer works were going on. In 2005, the data in 2005, in 2008, in 2010, and this is the data of 2011. So you can see here the increasing trend of geopolymer research. 27 years long, geopolymer science was studied in a very few laboratories and institutions. But during the last 9 or 10 years, it is increasing very rapidly. And regarding the publications on geopolymer research, if you see here, during 1991, it was almost zero publications. It was almost no abrupt change up to 2005-06. And then after 2005-06, you can see here a sharp change in the number of publications. And I'm sorry, I don't have the data after 2013. Maybe next time I may make available after 2013's data. So this is the trend of publication in the field of geopolymer research. Now, this is my part. Waste product utilized so far. What type of waste product I use as a raw material for geopolymer studies? I took brick waste, cement and sand concrete waste, coal fly ash. This coal fly ash, we do not have a thermal power plant, but this coal fly ash, it comes from the brick factories, Ita Karkhana or what, and demolish cement, sand, paper sloughs, zeolitic tuff. So these are the raw materials I use. And in the waste utilization scheme, my research groups are working on two different sectors. The one sector, they are preparing adsorbent materials for the purification of wastewater with different techniques. And the another group is synthesis of alternate cement, that is a green cement, or we can say geopolymer materials for the construction purposes. So today's talk, it is completely on this field. So I'm not going in detail about this side. And this is my geopolymer group. These all are already completed. Right now, neither I take a master's thesis nor a PhD. There are certain reasons. I have some problem with the rules and regulations of the Tribhuvan University or IST. So I stopped taking any PhD scholar. Even I am not taking right nowadays a master's thesis student also. So this is my geopolymer group. Whatever work in geopolymer sectors were done, whatever I am going to present you, these all works are due to the contribution of all my previous access students. And I want to give you one more information that within the South Asia, Dr. Arvind Pathak may be the first PhD holder in geopolymer sector. So I just want to give you one more information about the common elements in earth crust. If you see the chart, more than 75% of the earth crust contains silica and alumina. So I thought, why don't we use aluminosilicate to prepare environmentally benign materials? So my interest on geopolymer started during my tenure as a visiting professor in Okayama University, Japan. Even though when I was doing my my PhD work, the Professor Mackenzie, he influenced me that after my PhD, when I return back to Nepal, he suggested me to work on geopolymer area. He told me that my country is landlocked, a lot of mountains, there may be a lot of aluminum silicate raw materials available, so it would have a more better. So, but after my PhD, whatever task, whatever offer I got, I did a lot of work in accordance with the offer. It come to me after PhD. I went back in Togo University at physics department. There, my target was to produce metallic nanomaterial particles. Then I left that job due to some controversy during regarding the patent problem, and then I got another offer. I want to inform that you all that after PhD, it was my first postdoc was in physics department, and then I got another offer in Okayama University. It was in environmental science department, and after Okayama University, I got another offer in Akita University. It was geology department. So when I was working on Okayama University, my target was to utilize the coal fly ash. In Japan, Okayama is the place where there are a lot of thermal power plants, and they have a large deposit of coal fly ash. So I was given a target to utilize the coal fly ash. And when I was working on coal fly ash, I found something special there. During my treatment, I found intermediate compounds, which was geopolymer type materials. I will give you more information. And then Akita University, I was working on zeolitic material, clinoptilolite zeolite. It is the local zeolite materials available in Akita prefecture, Akita area. So I was using their working on production of cation exchanges, and then in a certain time. Now I would like to. When I was working on coal fly ash, I made the hydrothermal treatment, vary the hydrothermal treatment time and NaOH concentration, and you can see here. This is the reason for NaH zeolite. This is the reason for NaX plus NaH zeolites reason, and this is the reason for the NaX zeolites. And in this chart, I found in this region the completely amorphous material. You can see here in XRD patterns also, it was completely amorphous. And then I went for some another analysis, same time, another analysis, and I came to know that this was the geopolymer form. That was actually, it was not my target to make the geopolymer, but it was found. Then I was become more interested on this material, that is amorphous part, where I don't need much more time, no more sodium hydroxide concentration. So, and then I published this in Journal of Ceramic Society of Japan in 2008. And this is about the Akitas, when I was using the zeolitic tough materials with the mechanical milling, I got at certain variation parameters, I got the materials, completely amorphous materials. I went through the same analysis and I found this is a very good polymeric networking of the aluminum silicates. And fortunately, it was also geolytic, geopolymer materials. And with these works, here I did in Tribhuvan University, there is one global institute, that is a global Geopolymer Institute. And in around 2011, this Global Geopolymer Institute offered me the branch of its institution. Here you can see here is the web page address is also. So in Nepal, still there is only one branch of this Geopolymer Institute under my name. So this is the mechanism of geopolymerization. First, it starts when you treat with alkali, hydroxide dissolution start, then another phase, aluminum phase, rich phase, silicon rich phase will produce after dissolution. Again, polymerization occurs and you will get the polymerization of aluminosilicate materials with alkali metals in network, and this is geopolymer. So this is the one structure model of geopolymer materials. So work done on geopolymer synthesis, construction and demolition wastage are generated whenever construction and demolition activities takes place, such as building roads, bridge, flyover, subway, remodeling, etc. Most of these wastes are landfill or disposed in open dump, creating considerable nuisance and environmental problems due to lack of technical knowledge, financial and human resources, as well as existing policies. Due to rapid production of cement, most of the land in hilly regions, that is regions of limestone rich area, will be affected in the near future. So I did a lot of, varied a lot of raw materials, that is waste, inorganic waste materials, with several changing the chemical parameters and the strength I got. The maximum strength of 60 megapascal. Geopolymeric materials was obtained from the brick dust. So you will see here there's some variation of with the sodium silicate, brick dust variations. So these are some chemical parameters variations, and how we come to the conclusion with the highest compressive strength. There are another variation, alkali concentration. This is optimizing conditions. I did. You'll see here the variation with sodium silicate raw material mass ratio. There are a lot of variations. This is all chemical terms. I'm not going to give a lot of time on this. So with the particle size variations, we'll get. So this is the curing time variations, and this is the real samples, geopolymeric samples. So, and the cold, there are some cement materials are prepared to so try to make the cement which obtained from coal fly ash or which uses a lot of coal fly ashes. So this is the cement materials strength, this is geopolymer strength, and this is the mixtures strength. So with the variation you can see here, it works as the strength of geopolymer material is going on increasing rapidly. One thing I want to clear that the geopolymer materials have the high half-life. Almost they have no half-life. It is going on strengthening day by day with their some structure bounding. This is a geopolymer from red soil. I thought that if we produce a geopolymer like a geopolymer bricks with if it doesn't have the reddish color, the general people will not be influenced. So I tried, one of my master's student, he used red soil to make the geopolymer materials. And you can see from red soils, the geopolymer materials have got the strength of 43.14 megapascal. I want to make it clear that ordinary brick, the strength of mechanical strength of ordinary brick is in between 5 to 10 megapascal. So we can see here, without the heat treatment, these all samples were produced at 40 degrees Celsius. So without any heat treatment, we can produce the brick-like materials or geopolymeric materials of 43.14 megapascal strength. So these are the variation of silica to alumina mass ratio, what will appear with the variation of Na2O to SiO2 mass ratio, with the increase of Na2O to SiO2 mass ratio, the strength is going on increasing. So these are with the increase of Na2O to Al2O3 mass ratio, the strength will goes on gradually decreasing. So there are and some scientific publications related to geopolymer synthesis from Tribhuvan University. You can see here there are a lot of some publications on geopolymer areas. So almost 15 publications were we got from geopolymer research. And last year in 2018-19, I was in Panipat to give one presentation. And this is the Indian newspaper, the coverage I got from the Indian newspaper at that time. So I come towards the end of my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Binil Aryal. सबभन्दा पहिले म एउटा कुरो इन्फर्म गर्न चाहन्छु अघि मेरो ब्रिफ इन्ट्रोडक्सनमा हेर्नुभयो होला म पीएचडी गरिसकेपछि पहिलो अफर मैले पाएको फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्टमा र आज अनलाइन सेमिनार पनि मैले पहिलो अफर पाएको फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्टबाट थ्यांक यू बिनिल सर फर गिभिङ सच एन अपॉर्चुनिटी आई वुड लाइक टू एक्नॉलेज ऑल माय मास्टर्स एंड पीएचडी स्कॉलर्स Nepal Academy of Science and Technology, University Grant Commissions, Center for Science and Technology of the Non-Aligned and Other Developing Countries, that is NAM, Science and Technology Center, Government of India, Central Department of Geology for XRD Facilities, Central Material Testing Laboratory of Pulchok, Lalitpur. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this very informative and magnificent talk. Dr. Jha, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद सरलाई म राजु सरलाई रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु राजु सर प्लिज चाहिँ यो च्याट बक्समा अथवा क्वेशन एन्सर सेसनको लागि हेल्प गर्नलाई राजु सरलाई मैले रिक्वेस्ट गरिरहेको छु
थ्यांक यू बिनिल सर थ्यांक यू सो मच फर अर्गनाइजिङ दिस टक र डाक्टर विनय कुमार झा सरलाई एकदम विशेष धन्यवाद हामीलाई यो जियोपोलिमर टेक्नोलोजी जुन चाहिँ ग्रीन सिमेन्ट मैले अलिअलि त कतै सुनेको थिएँ तर यति थाहा थिएन त्यसको कुराहरू र इन्ट्रेस्टिङली उहाँको टियुको जापानको एक्सपिरियन्स रिसर्च एक्सपिरियन्स कुराहरूलाई पनि जोडेर स्टुडेन्टहरूको इन्भल्भमेन्टलाई पनि जोडेर सिस्टमेटिकल्ली हामीलाई त्यो ग्रीन सिमेन्टको बारेमा यति धेरै आइडिया दिनुभयो थ्यांक यू सो मच सर र म सबैलाई पार्टिसिपेन्टलाई जसको क्वेसन छ ह्यान्ड रेज गर्न रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु अब च्याट बक्समा आइसकेको भए ठिक छ तर ह्यान्ड रेज गरिदिनु भयो भने त्यो युनिफर्म होला भनेर र सबभन्दा पहिले यहाँ च्याट बक्समा युवनारायण थापाजीले केही सोध्नु भएको छ युवनारायण थापाजी र म के रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु भने त्यो क्वेसनको इफेक्टिभनेस देखियोस् भनेर आफै सोध्नु होला यदि त्यस्तो गाह्रो छ भने भन्नुभयो भने म पनि सोधिदिन सक्छु अनम्युट गरेर आफै सोध्नु होला युवनारायण थापाजी हुनुहुन्छ
सबै सबैलाई नमस्कार नमस्कार अनि सर म एउटा सानो क्वेसन राख्छु भनेर यो बेस जुन कन्क्रिटहरू छ नि अब हजुरले देखाउनु भयो अघि प्रेजेन्टेसनमा पनि त्यसको त्यति धेरै उपयोगिता त्यसको त्यति धेरै राम्रो गुणहरू हुँदा पनि कन्क्रिट जुन हाम्रो सिमेन्ट छ यो अर्ग्यानिक पोर्टल्यान्ड सिमेन्टहरूको तुलनामा चाहिँ यो त्यति धेरै चर्चामा किन आउन सकेन होला त्यति धेरै उपयोगमा किन आउन सकेन होला भन्ने कुरा एउटा हैन सर अनि अर्को यसको यो जियो जुन पोलिमर बेस्ड हामी यो कङ्क्रिटहरू बनाउँछौँ अथवा यो पोलिमर्सहरू फर्मेसन गर्दाखेरि जुन अल्कालीहरू हामी जुन युज गरिरहेको छौँ होइन कास्टिक पोटास होइन अथवा चाहिँ कास्टिक सोडाहरू युज गरिरहेको छौँ त्यसको केही टक्सिक इफेक्ट रहन्छ होला त सर हेल्थ हेजार्ड्सहरू केही छ होला यति नै हो सर
नारायणजी अब राम्रो क्वेसन गर्नुभयो पहिलो कुरो तपाईँको क्वेरी के थियो भने जियो पोलिमरको यति धेरै एप्लिकेसन हुँदै पनि हामी कहाँ त्यति बढी किन युज हुँदैन भनेर अब मैले तपाईँलाई अलिकति इन्फर्मेसन दिन खोजेँ मैले अस्ट्रेलिया almost 25% of cement material is replaced by geopolymer materials. Even एकजना हाम्रो सायद आज जोइन गर्नुभएको छ कि छैन मलाई थाहा भएन प्रोफेसर निर्मल कुमार राजमणि भनेर कसैले एडमिनिस्ट्रेटरहरू कोही हुनुहुन्छ भने उहाँले सायद हेर्नु होला निर्मल कुमार उहाँ चाहिँ आइआइटी मद्रासको प्रोफेसर हो र उहाँ रिटायरमेन्ट पछि चाहिँ जियोपोलिमरमा लाग्नु सायद मैले 2009 मा उहाँसँग भेट गर्दा हाम्रो इन्टरेक्सन्सले गर्दा उहाँ इन्ट्रेस्टेड हुनुभएको थियो जियोपोलिमर अहिले बिनिल सर सायद चिनिराख्नु होला मनोज कुमार ठाकुर सरको विद्यार्थी एसआरएम युनिभर्सिटीमा पिएचडी गरिरहेछ आफ्टर राजमणि सर भनेको आइआइटी मद्रासमा रिटायर भइसकेपछि एसआरएम युनिभर्सिटीमा उहाँ सिभिल इन्जिनियरिङ डिपार्टमेन्टमा हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँकै इनिसिएसनमा इन्डियामा अहिले साउथ इन्डियामा धेरै ठाउँमा चाहिँ जियोपोलिमरबाट डिफ्रेन्ट जस्तै हामी कहाँ त्यो काठको झ्यालको फ्रेमहरू हामी बिक्री गरिरहेछौँ नि त्यहाँ चौकस जस्तो फ्रेमहरू जियोपोलिमरबाट बनाएर व्यावसायिक रूपमा सेल गरिरहेछ न्युजिल्यान्डतिर धेरै बढी युज भइरहेछ र हामी कहाँ युज हुन नसक्ने कारण भनेको हामी कहाँ त राम्रो कुरोले त बढावा दिँदैन नि त हाम्रो कुरोले बढावा दिने हो जब मैले जियोपोलिमर सम्बन्धी कुरो मैले यहाँ प्लेटफर्ममा राख्न खोजेँ भने मेरो सबभन्दा इनामी त सिमेन्ट इन्डस्ट्रिजवाला हुनुभयो उनीहरूले मलाई के ठान्छ भने यो त हाम्रो दुश्मन हो भनेर ठान्छ मैले उहाँहरूलाई के रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ भने सिमेन्ट इन्डस्ट्रिजबाट प्रोड्युस हुने सिमेन्टको त हाफ लाइफ छ 70 वर्ष 60 वर्ष 70 वर्षपछि त त्यो सिमेन्ट त र डिमोलिस पार्टमा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ नि उहाँहरूलाई मैले के रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ भने तपाईँहरूको फ्याक्ट्रीमा जति प्रोडक्सन हुन्छ त्यसको 1% जियोपोलिमरको युनिट इस्टाब्लिस गरिदिनुहोस् न तपाईँको ग्राइन्डिङ मेसिनले काम गरिहाल्छ सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड कमर्सियली चाहिँ त्यति महँगो पर्दैन हामीले ल्याबमा ल्याउने एनालाइटिकल ग्रेड र कमर्सियलमा धेरै फरक हुन्छ वाटर ग्लास भन्छ सोडियम सिलिकेट त्यो धेरै महँगो छैन हामीले यहाँ हेर्दाखेरि त मैले 2.5 लिटरको 14,000 मा यहाँ किने मेरो पिएचडी स्कलरले 500 रुपियाँ आइसीमा चाहिँ इन्डियाबाट त्यो ग्रेडको किनेर ल्याए आफै किनेर ल्याउ र अझ मैले त्यहाँ हेरेँ साउथ इन्डियामा 1000 रुपियाँमा त एक ब्यारल पो दिँदो रहेछ 250 लिटरको भन्नाले त्यो धेरै महँगो छैन तर हामी चाहिँ हाम्रो अहिले कन्सेप्ट के रहेछ भने हाम्रो लाइम स्टोन जति नेपालमा छ त्यो सखाप नपारुन्जेल नेपाललाई मरुभूमि नबनाउन्जेलसम्म हामी सिमेन्ट उत्पादन गरिराख्यौँ त्यो डिमोलिस पार्ट थुपार्दै जाने 72 को भूकम्पमा मैले त्यति बेलाको योजना आयोगको उपाध्यक्षलाई मैले रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ यो डिमोलिस पार्टलाई युटिलाइज गर्ने म आइडिया दिन्छु तर उहाँको पनि त्यस्तै अब डाइरेक्ट भनौँ अथवा इन्डाइरेक्ट मैले धेरै आक्षेप लगाउन चाहदैन उहाँको पनि सोच त्यही थियो राम्रो प्रपोजल मलाई चाहिएको छैन हाम्रो प्रपोजल पो चाहियो त्यही भएर मैले सुरुमा मैले भने योग्यताको कदर हुन छोडियो देशमा र मेरो रिसर्च लाइनमा शिथिलता आउने एउटा मुख्य कारण पनि त्यही थियो अनि युवराजजीको अर्को क्वेसन मैले म बिर्सिरहेको छु के उहाँले अर्को के क्वेसन गर्नुभएको
अनि यो जियोपोलिमर बनाउँदाखेरि युज हुने जुन यो कास्टिक अल्कालीहरू छ नि
त्यो मैले अघि भनिसकेँ त्यो तपाईले प्रोडक्सनको सिलसिलामा एनालाइटिकल ग्रेड ल्याबोरेटरी ग्रेड चाहिँदैन नि प्रोडक्सन गर्ने बेलामा इटा बनाउने बेलामा त्यो सप्लायरहरू छ नि, थुप्रै सप्लायरहरू छ। मेरो 2-3 चोटिको कन्फरेन्स, इन्टरनेसनल कन्फरेन्स सेमिनार को स्पोन्सर गर्ने त्यो सोडियम सिलिकेट बनाउने ठुलो फ्याक्ट्री छ, उनीहरूले स्पोन्सर गरिदियो सबै। उनीहरूको स्पोन्सर गरेर उनीहरूको लोभ यति हो कि मार्केट चाहिँ मेरो लागि मार्केट बनाइदियो तिम्रो नेपालमा, त्यति मात्रै चाहना हो। अर्को केही?
ओके, थ्याङ्क यू विनय सर। अरू पनि क्वेसनहरू छ, त्यही भएर त्यसमा आउँदै जाला, नत्र फेरि होला। यहाँ हाम्रो आकाशजीले पहिले हात उठाउनु भएको थियो, फेरि झार्नुभयो, त्यही भएर को अगाडि भन्ने म झुकिएँ। गोपी सर हो कि आकाश लखरजी हो? प्लिज अनम्युट गर्नु त आकाशजी, अथवा म गरिदिन्छु यताबाट।
विनय सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
सर मेरो एउटा मात्रै सिम्पल क्वेसन छ सर। जस्तै हामीले मानव 40 डिग्री सेल्सियसमा हामीले कम्प्रेसिभ स्ट्रेन्थहरुलाई माथि त्यो डिपेन्डेन्सी गरिरहेको छौँ भने माइनस टेम्परेचरमा हाम्रो जियोपोलिमरमा केही इफेक्ट आउँछ?
एकचोटि जियोपोलिमर तपाईले प्रोड्युस गरिसकेपछि, मैले सुरुमा अलिकति तपाईलाई बारेमा बताएँ कस्तो भने, सिमेन्ट त क्याल्सियम सिलिकेट हाइड्रेट हो। र धेरै टाइम हुँदै बढ्दै गइसकेपछि त्यो हाइड्रेट जुन हुन्छ नि वाटर पार्ट, त्यो बिस्तारै बिस्तारै हट्दै गइसकेपछि क्याल्सियम सिलिकेट मात्रै रहन जान्छ। र क्याल्सियम सिलिकेट मात्रै रहेपछि क्र्याकिङ बिस्तारै हुन्छ। र त्यही कारण हो सिमेन्ट मेटेरियलको हाफ लाइफ हुन्छ। र अब म यता जियोपोलिमरतिर लागेँ। जियोपोलिमरमा के हुन्छ भने यो पोलिमर हो, एउटा नेटवर्किङ जस्तो स्ट्रक्चर बन्छ। त्यो नेटवर्क भित्रको केजहरुमा वाटर मोलिकुल हुन्छ। वाटर मोलिकुल चाहिँ त्यो पोलिमरको चेन स्ट्रक्चर भित्र सर्कुलेट गरिरहेको हुन्छ र जहिले पनि त्यसको स्ट्रेन्थलाई एज इट इज राख्न मद्दत पुर्याउँछ। त्यही भएर तपाईले यसलाई प्रोडक्ट बनिसकेपछि तपाई माइनसमा लानुहोस् कि 1200 डिग्री सेल्सियससम्म लानुहोस्, त्यो त्यति सजिलो चाहिँ त्यो भित्र पोलिमर चेन भित्र बसेको वाटर चाहिँ त्यति चाँडो हट्दैन। र नहट्ने कारणले गर्दाखेरि त्यसको स्ट्रेन्थ चाहिँ लङ पिरियडसम्म, सेभरल सेन्चुरीसम्म चाहिँ एज इट इज रहन्छ।
थ्याङ्क यू सर। नेक्स्ट गोपीकाशलेजी प्लिज। मैले ह्यान्ड रेजबाटै गरेँ है, अनि म यता अरू च्याटमा पनि छ, म फेरि आउँला। तर
थ्याङ्क यू विनय सर, धेरै सरको सुने। अलिअलि त आन्सरहरू आइ पनि सक्यो मैले गर्न खोजेको क्वेसनहरूको। तर पनि मैले के खोजेको भने यसको लाइफ स्पेन, किनभने यसको लाइफ स्पेन र लाइफ स्पेन कति हुन्छ। जस्तै अरू सिमेन्टहरूको जुन नर्मल हामीले सिमेन्ट बनाउँछौँ र जियो सिमेन्टहरू भनौँ न, यसलाई चाहिँ जियो कम्पनीमा त कति होला। एउटा अघि टेम्परेचरको कुरा पनि आयो भाइको होइन, टेम्परेचरको सरको कुन सरले भन्नुभयो अथवा भाइले कसले भन्नुभयो होइन। र यसको टेम्परेचर डिफरेन्स जुन हाम्रो कन्ट्रीको लागि अथवा विभिन्न कन्ट्रीको लागि जुन तपाईँले 1200 यताउति भन्नु भने त्यसले स्ट्रेन स्ट्रेस इफेक्टहरू कस्तो हुन्छ होला यसको? स्ट्रेन इफेक्ट टेम्परेचर भेराइटी स्ट्रेन इफेक्ट भएपछि त त्यसले चाहिँ ड्युरेसन नगर्ने भएर अहिलेको जुन रेसेन्ट ट्रेन्डहरू छ यो ट्रेन्डलाई सप्लिमेन्ट गर्न नसकेको हो कि? एउटा त्यो छ। अर्को कमर्सियल पर्पजको पनि कुराहरू आयो। कमर्सियल पर्पजको कुराहरू आएको छ नि, जस्तै यो सिमेन्ट बनाउँदा र त्यो जियो सिमेन्टहरू जुन ग्रिन सिमेन्टहरू हो त्यो बनाउँदाखेरिको कमर्सियलमा के इफेक्ट पर्छ, कस्तो असर गर्छ? दोस्रो कुरो, दोस्रो नेपालमा के स्कोप होला यसको?
थ्याङ्क यू गोपी सर। तपाईले सबभन्दा पहिले मैले स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेनको कुरो गर्नुभयो। मलाई लाग्छ भर्खर 1-2 वर्ष अगाडि मेरो विद्यार्थीको जियोपोलिमर सम्बन्धी एउटा पेपर तपाईले पब्लिस गर्दै होला। यो र अर्को कुरो तपाईलाई एउटा जनरल कुरो म इन्फर्म गर्न चाहन्छु। इजिप्टमा भएको पिरामिडको अहिलेसम्म हाफ लाइफ आइसकेका छैन भनेर भन्छ। त्यो चाहिँ जियोपोलिमर प्रोडक्ट हो। हामीले पुरानो बिल्डिङ अहिले पनि केही राणाकालीन त्यो पुरानो दरबारहरू हेर्न जानुभयो भने इटाको धुलो चुना राखेर बनाएको. With the time being, it becomes the stone. That is, we call it the artificial stone. Stone बन्दै जाने हो. समय क्रमसँगै यो स्टोनमा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ. समय क्रमसँगै यसको डिकेइङ हुँदैन. अघि पनि मैले भने त्यो डिकेइङ नहुने कारण के हो भने त्यो भित्रको पोलिमरिक स्ट्रक्चर, भित्रको वाटर मलिक्युल जुन हुन्छ नि त्यो सर्कुलेट गरिरहेको हुन्छ. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यसको हाफ लाइफ को कुरो हुँदैन. With the time lapses, it becomes more and more like a stone characters. And अहिले जुन हामीले हेरिरहेछौँ डिफरेन्ट स्ट्रक्चरहरू, पुरानो पुरानो मोनुमेन्टहरू भन्छौँ उत्खनन गर्दा फेला पर्यो भनेको, त्यो त त्यति बेलाको जियोपोलिमर हो जस्तो मैले अनुमान गर्न चाहेको. मोनुमेन्टहरू पुरानो हामीले ढुङ्गाको मूर्ति फेला पर्यो भनेर भन्छन् कि त कुदिएको होला कि त बनाएको हो भने त्यो त्यति बेला बनाएको मेटेरियल चाहिँ जियोपोलिमर हुनुपर्छ र त्यसको हाफ लाइफ हुँदैन. विथ टाइमिङ इट गोज अन इन्क्रिजिङ. अर्को कमर्सियलाइजेसनको कुरो गर्नुभयो तपाईँले. अहिले